What's up, everybody? This is King L Bay. I'm gonna show you why it's important to have a claim. Most of y'all don't understand this information in its entirety, so a lot of y'all don't know what's important. So that's why a lot of your claims are getting kicked out because they're frivolous, and you don't understand the importance of laying the claim down so you can get relief. Because failure to state a claim in which relief can be granted will be the cause in which you won't get no remedy because you didn't put nothing down for the court to deal with. Now we're going to talk about private contracts, and I'm going to show you the importance of private contracts. I'm going to show you how the diversity of jurisdiction and some of the elements of that, how that's applicable, but based upon contract. You got to understand this is all about contract. When you guys are going into courts and you arguing statutes and codes, you need to have a claim down so you can get the maximum potential of the maximum that you can get from the state when you get an injury. Don't allow them to give you what I call reparations. And let me show you when you victims of a crime. Ohio Revised Code victims of crime and reparations. I'm gonna drop this game on y'all. This is under course of claims when you under victims of crime under the general provision under special remedies. When a claimant when they injure you, you are getting reparations. You're not getting your claim because you haven't technically laid down a claim so you can get relief. So the state give you what they call reparations. And I'm going to show you. Reparations are awarded to victims of crime definition. Do you see this? I want y'all to see that. You are getting reparations. You are not getting a claim. You don't understand how to enforce your private contract. Because this video is probably one of the most fiery videos I have done. It's going to drop some fire on y'all today. And you have to understand this information. That's why I tell people you need to come and get with us. We teaching people, we taking this to the other level where people can understand what they're doing. And I'm going to close in a little bit. I'm going to fade to black because I'm not going to get a lot of backlash. I'm going to fade to black. For those who are going to want to become private members, we're still going to have some stuff together. But eventually, I'm going to fade to black. But let me get back to the video. Claimant means both of the following categories. Any of the following person who claims an award of reparations under section this and this of the revised codes. Let's look at this. Right of reimbursement, repayment, or subjugation in favor of reparation funds. This is dealing with victims of crimes. I'm not going to go into all of that. Y'all can look that up on your own. It says a victim who was on the following at the time of the criminal injury conduct. A resident of the United States, a resident of a foreign country, a dependent of a deceased victim. So I'm letting you know, a resident of a foreign country, the laws of which permit a resident of a state to recover compensation as a victims of offenses committed in that country. So I want you to understand, when they talking about foreign country, and foreign state. You gotta understand, I did a video on this. I'm not gonna go over all of this stuff. Y'all need to go to the Morris Universal Society of Tribes YouTube channel, subscribe, and look at what I talk about this in the civil rules, and I show you what all of this mean, what foreign country mean. I break it down. It means private. All it means is a private estate. You need to really look at that. Look at the videos I have done, because ain't nobody dropping videos like this. So let's go on to do this. So when you sue and you lay down a claim, like you sue under terrorism and bodily injury and all that, you are getting reparations. You're not getting the full extent of your claim because you never laid one down. Okay. I'm going to show you the importance of laying a claim down. So let's look at this. Failure to state a claim for which relief can be granted is a defense often raised by a defendant. This defense is typically raised by a defendant answer and explain why the plaintiff does not have a proper claim to bring. In other words, the defendant will state how they properly comply with the terms. This is all about contract. What terms is they talking about? Contract. King has always brought this down. So we're going to go here. We're not going to look at the 14th Amendment, because we're going to look at due process of law when they talk about private property. And I'm going to also put in Ohio's. So let me do this before Ohio Constitution. Let me break this down. We're going to look at the 5th, and we're going to look at the 5th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, we're not going to even entertain because it's fraud. It was based upon fraud. I think. And I'm going to show you this. This is where you're coming from. The 5th and the 4th, the 5th and the 19th, in the Ohio Constitution, Section 1, Section 19. So what do they say about private property? It says, without due process of the law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So it says private property. So what they're talking about, you got to have a private contract. So let me explain to you what I mean, but let's look at this first. Private property shall ever be held inviolate but subservient to the public welfare. Once again, if they take private property, they have to compensate you. They can take private property, but first they got to see if they can afford to take it. So what do they have to do? They got to get consent first. They got to get consent. And this is where the letter of rogatory come in. But I'm not going to talk about that yet. Let me explain to you why it's important to lay down these claims. Okay. When you get injured and you lay down a statute, that's dealing with reparations in which they're going to compensate you in accordance. But I'm going to explain it to you like this. And the importance. And the reason why, when you get with us and you get with the ghosts in the system, we create you what we call a more man. We take you out of that federal jurisdiction and state jurisdiction, and we create a different jurisdiction in which you operate the more man under. So everything is through contractual. And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say, for example, the police hurt LeBron. LeBron make these claims, right? So the police, they beat him up. They mistake him for somebody else. They beat him up. They take him. They do some stuff to him, right? LeBron missed 120 games due to him missing. He missed 120 games due to him being injured. So LeBron can take his private contract from the NBA, bring it into the public and say, I missed 120 days. I have a $80 million contract for 3 years. And each day that he missed is a particular amount of money per game. Let's say it's 50,000 per game. Let's say it's 100,000 per game. Let's say it's 200,000 per game. He missed 120 days. So if it's $200,000 a day, they have to pay him because they took income from him in a private matter, a private contract that he was due to get due to he suffered injury by the hands of another party. If it was intentional or not, he got injured. Another example, let's say the police come and take your children. CPS take your children and they don't have a right because you're not under their instrumentalities. You're not accepting no benefits. You have it all set up right. They come and take your child. If you contracted right with those private contracts, right, like you're supposed to, and you have not only a lien against the Moore man, but they are contractually obligated. Let's say your Moore man, the contract is for $20 million for 10 years or $20 million for 3 years. Guess what happens? Every day they took your child and you misworked, you can make a claim against that. So let's say emotional distress and all this stuff, you claim that. But you also miswork based upon you had a contract with your Moore man, and which is a private contract. And I ain't gonna explain all that. That's for my private members. So let's say it's a $20 million contract for 3 years. Every day that you didn't go to work due to the fact that you were trying to get your child back and it was giving you emotional distress, you can sue on the basis of that contract. I want y'all to get that. That's a private contract. So let's go here. Let me talk about suing. Let's go put this in. Suing for private rights under contract. Let me see if I can. Now we so by them injuring you, let's say injury, under, I'm just trying to put something in to see how it come out. Private contract. The term private contract is naturally not all-inclusive. A judgment through granted in favor of a creditor is not a contract in the sense of a constitution, nor is marriage, and whether a particular agreement is valid contract is a question of court, and finally for the Supreme Court when the protection of a contract clause is invoked. So let's go here. Contract clause of the Constitution. Contract clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10. The clause prohibits a state from passing any laws that impairs the obligation of the contract or make anything but gold and silver coin a tender of payment. So, it says, it says, no state shall enter into a treaty, alliance, or confederation, grants, letter of marque, and reprisal, coin, money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payments of debts, pass any bill of potato ex facto law, or impair or a law impairing the obligation of a contract. So that's one. Now let's go here under colorable jurisdiction. Now we're gonna go with conspiracy of rights. And let me show you. I'm gonna go and let me talk to y'all again. I'm kind of jumping around, but I want to show you the importance. Now let's talk about that. Now they just took your child. You missed work because you had CPS come and took your child. You missed work, right? Not your job that you go to. You are under contract with a private society. You are under contract to give that Moore man is obligated to make $20 million, let's say in 2 years, to pay these institutions back. Now, the bottom line of it is, every day you miss is a percentage of that $20 million. Now, I'm going to give you another example. Let's say the police take your vehicle and you are able to perform the job according to the contract that you have with the private contract, because you're under private contract if you know what you're doing. And let's say it's $20 million. Every day they got that car and you can't perform, you can ask for the amount for every day you miss of work. Let's say the police unlawfully take you to jail and you go to jail. They didn't charge you. You locked up for 30 days. If you lay down your claims and you do everything right, you gonna get compensated for every day you miss, not including the reparations that you're going to receive, but the contract that you can enforce due to every day you missed. This is what Moors are not teaching you. You got to understand this information. This is why they do what they do. Because if you set it up appropriately, you can get appropriate relief based upon your ability to contract, based upon your knowledge of contract, based upon what you want to do. Now let's go here. Let me explain to you. I talked about a letter of oratory. I'll come back. I'm gonna drop some science on that. I just want to go here. I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna come here for a second. Fair to state a claim for relief can be granted is a defense. So what I'm telling y'all, I already stated this. If you don't state a claim, if you don't know how to appropriate and state a claim, put a claim on the record, and do everything that which you need to do, and which we and must know how to do these private contracts and all of this, and you got claim and you understand and you got jurisdiction over that thing or property, then you can get your appropriate relief. And if you really know how to do your administrative process, man, oh man, oh man, you talking about some gangster and then throwing in a commercial lien with that? Ain't nobody teaching y'all this. Everybody teaching you to state a claim with you arguing their points of law. No, no, no. We're talking about private contracts. We're talking about filing a complaint. Let me go here. Let me show y'all. Filing an affidavit or complaint. I just want to show you. Misdemeanor. I want to show you. I'm trying to arrest citations. We're talking about private complaints. It's probably somewhere in here. I'm just overlooking it. The summons shall be served in the same manner as a civil. In the affidavit complaint, a peace officer who has his discretion at the time of commission, alleged notified before the court magistrate process needed. Any person charged with the minimus, regardless of whether a warrant is a warrant, arrest, warrant offense. Let me see. Upon filing, let me see this. I'm trying to think. Filing a complaint. Nope. Nope. This ain't it. I gotta come back to that. It's in the revised codes. I'm gonna show you court of claims. I've been in that. I want to show you where you can file. Where they talk about. I got a video on that already, but I won't get into that. I was trying to look for that where you can file, where you can enforce private rights. I'll come back to that code because I can't remember off the top of the dome. But it's just filing a private complaint. Let me see. I spelled. Let me see. Let me do this. I'm gonna see if I can find it one more time for y'all. Private rights. Let me see. Let's see. So let me see. The revised code do not create, enlarge, or abrogate existing private rights. Private rights. Reclamation. Private rights. I want to talk about. I'll go back in here. I'll find it another time. I ain't gonna. But when you're dealing with the revised codes or your state's codes, you got to look at private rights, and that's going here. Let's just look at definition. Private rights. Now I already showed you where you get your private rights. Private rights is one that a private citizen can vindicate in court. Compared to public rights, there must be a private right for a citizen to have a claim. Do y'all see that? Gotta have a contract. So I'm trying to explain to y'all how to do this in a manner where you can come over, and if you don't know how to do it, that's why you're not getting the remedy, or you getting everything you're looking for, and stop these people from doing certain things to you because you don't understand how to make a claim. A private right for a citizen to have a claim. So in order to have a private right, you got to have a private contract. You're under contract in which you establish with a private institution in which created a private obligation, which is a private right, in which you can enforce by making a claim. I was just trying to show you in the statute. I got a video that I done when you go to Must. Just got to go through all them videos. I study all these codes. I can't remember off the top of my dome. But let's go in. I'm gonna drop some more fire on y'all. Like I said, if you understand what you're doing, you can enforce these private contracts, and then you can get every day you miss under that private contract, you can get compensated for. So let's go under a 1985 conspiracy to interfere with civil rights. Okay, depriving a person of a right or privilege. It person of rights. I told you how you make a right. If two or more persons in any state or territory, they're not talking about what you think. They're talking about in any state or territory. Let's sell, like I told you before, if you watch any of my videos, you can have a Burger King here. Say this is Burger King and this is McDonald's. These two different people. These would be two different states and two different jurisdictions and how they operate. This person cannot infringe on the rights of this person by selling their products and vice versa. This established this, but you gotta know what you're doing to establish these entities and these contracts. Conspire or to in disguise on the highway or on the premise of another for the purpose of depriving either directly or indirectly any person or class of person of equal protection of law or of equal privileges and immunities under the law, or for the purpose of preventing or hindering the constituted authorities of any state or territory for giving or securing to all persons within such state or territory the equal protection of law. So, let me show you how to break this down. Let me show you how to bust their head. You're talking about, what do they tell you? They can't interfere with what? Obligation of the contract. They can't interfere with what? Or they can't stop you from what? Religious practices. So if they enter your contract, the way you contracting with your institutions is a religious practice. And their contracts, their obligations of a contract. So they said they will not do what? Interfere. Equal protection under the due process clause. Now, if y'all want to look at the 14th Amendment, which I said doesn't really apply because it's a fraud, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of law. That's what they say according to this don't apply to you in your private capacity. But we're going to look at this. It says, nor shall compel any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. All of this dealing with contracts. Liberty or property without due process. So you don't even got it. You can get all of that you need under here, under this provision of the Constitution and the Fifth Amendment. And you can apply that under a 1983, what is it, 1985? Let's go to a 1983. It's 1014. Let me break this down for y'all. 1983. Now, elements of a section of a 1983. To prevail on the claim of a 1983, the plaintiff must prove two critical points. A person subjected to the plaintiff to conduct that occurs under a color of state law, and his conduct deprive the plaintiff of rights, privileges, or immunities guaranteed under the federal law of the U.S. Constitution. Here you go once again. Deprived of rights, privileges, or immunities guaranteed. So when they say they won't interfere with the obligations of a contract, they won't interfere with your religious rights, here you go, under a 1983. So we're going to talk about this because everything is about contracts. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Once you understand how to state a claim, put your claims down, got your contracts, do everything appropriately. And I'm not going to go into breaking down how to state a claim. That's for my private members. When we break it down, we're going to show you the importance of a claim. But I'm explaining to you, well, when we break it down, we show you, instruct you how to go about doing everything. And we understand that you got to have your fee schedules and all that. But certain things got to also be in place also for you to get your relief. Let me go. So let's go. Diversity of jurisdiction. So everything is, when you talk about diversity of jurisdiction, diversity of jurisdiction is derived from Article 3 of the Constitution, require minimal diversity. State Farm 28 U.S.C. requires complete diversity. Strawbridge, every P must be diverse from every D. Domicile. So they tell you how they give jurisdiction. If you watch my videos, they say that you either reside, you domicile, you got a property or business in the United States jurisdiction. That's how they get jurisdiction. So when we start talking about this diversity of jurisdiction, you got to understand, you're talking about them interfering with the contract from them saying that we have a right to step in and take property and interfere with your claim, exercising your diversity of your right of jurisdiction that's private from theirs. Because you got to understand there's a private jurisdiction and there's a public jurisdiction. And you have to understand that it has to be the amount of controversy must be greater than $75,000. Must be greater. So it got to be greater than $75,000 in costs. So what are they talking about? They're talking about a contract. So all this stuff is relatable to contract. When we talk about diversity of jurisdiction, we talk about all this stuff that's contract. So when the government don't have what they call a governmental compelling interest a compelling state or governmental interest is an element of the strict scrutiny test by which the courts exercise judicial review of legislation, legislative and executive branch enactments that affect constitutional rights, such as those found in the First Amendment. So, what they're looking at, okay, this is what the government is saying in this. And they gotta, because strict scrutiny, you don't want to go, you want to always be in this when dealing with making decisions under the strict scrutiny. You do not want them to be liberally construed to make a decision. You don't want that. You don't want any liberal interest whatsoever. It has to be strict scrutiny. Strict scrutiny is based upon the contract and contract only. Period. Period. The judges, the Supreme Court, they only gonna make a decision based upon the interpretation of the contract. Period. So when you guys understand this, understand the importance of laying the claim, and I'm telling you why. Like when they take your children, they take your private property, and you know what you're doing, and you know how to lay down these claims, you know how to contract, and you can now use your administrative process. You can have your own family court. You see what I'm saying? You understand the jurisdiction. And like I said, let's go to, I never did letter of rogatory. Let me go here. They never did this. It's broader sense of international practice. The term letter of rogatory denotes a formal request from one court in which an action is pending to a foreign court to perform some judicial act. So, listen to what I'm saying. They got to get, when we talk about foreign, we talk about private once again. They got to get consent. Once they realize who got jurisdiction over the property, before they can take action, before they can seize the property, they got to get consent from first. This is a matter of due process of law. You gotta understand, they gotta get permission to get jurisdiction once you understand when you set this up. I'm breaking this down for you because ain't nobody on the internet is doing this for y'all like this, because I've been in the court. I told you I was boots on the ground for many, many, many years. When you talk about litigation, when the courts crack your head enough, or you done did some good things and crack their head enough, the court will teach you everything you know. They will talk in vague terms and legalese. They will try to confuse you. You have to then go in really and dismantle what they said, and then you have to understand the functionality of what's going on of this process. I had to stop not just studying law for a while, but I had to critically think. These are critical thinking exercises. This is not about, everybody want to get you to believe like, oh man, you got to look at the law, you got to understand all the definitions. You do. Don't take me wrong. But you must be able to look at this and decipher what's going on by critically thinking. Because I was listening to Dr. Phil Valentine, and he said, when you are learned and you are trained in thought, you stop thinking. Because your mind will go to the place in which it was learned. You stop thinking. So the Most High told me, he said, hey, King, you've been studying law for a long, long time. Now it's time to reach or reevaluate and use your critical thinking exercises for this purpose, to evolve practice as a practitioner, exercising in what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. So this is the difference between our organization. We're not just studying law, we're critical thinking about life and other things. We're trying to critically think to improve your quality and standard of life by understanding how to think in various situations and using your mind and tapping into your universal powers. This is, you can get stagnant and get boxed in. You understand that? I started doing things that was kind of unorthodox in court, and I started learning that, I could box them in with certain things. The judge, stuff that I done had judges pull me to the side, go to law school. What you did was kind of brilliant. So this is what good attorneys do when they chasing the bag, when they're working for a private client, when they're working for a big law firm. You know what I'm saying? And they have to protect the interests of the client. They understand what's going on. So I'm just letting you know, when you look at here, understand the Constitution of your state. Look at the Fifth Amendment. Like I said, your Fifth Amendment, I'm just going to recap. The Fifth Amendment, when you look at this due process of law, you got to understand that. You got to understand injury, harm, or damages that is done or sustained. You know what I'm saying? Law, any wrong or violation of rights. Violation of rights, which rights is considered property. Reputation. Or property, because all of this is really pertaining to the same thing. Reputation. And this is injury due to it affect your ability to contract. Everything is a contract. So if somebody affect your reputation, and then you can't do no business or whatever, or it affect, say you got a contract, somebody spills some on your name, and the person breached the contract because they don't want to do business with you, and they say, well, we're going to just breach this contract and get out of this contract. Now you can sue that other party for the rest of the contract that you was supposed to be getting because somebody lied on your name. Everything is contract. Get this through everybody's head. Contract, contract, contract. When you think about everything, contract, contract, contract. I'm trying to get my people to understand this information. Harm means any injury or loss or damages. It can also be any material or tangible detriment. Material or tangible. Material or tangible. That's property. There are different types of harm, like accidental harm, where the injury or damages is not caused by a torturous act. It's still, if it's even accidental. Like I said, for example, let's use LeBron again. Let's say this. Let's say you accidentally did something and hurt LeBron's leg and put him in the cast. And I don't want to get into specifics, but then he sue you. He can sue you and also get the reparations. He's not going to get reparations because he's not dealing with the state. But he can sue you under the claim that he got injury and he missed maybe 2 months, 60 days of basketball. And you have to pay him according to those 60 days, whatever the amount under his contract, in which each day he missed is surmountable to his cost. Now That could be $600,000. That could be $2 million. That could be $5 million, according to what's specified in the contract. Like I said, when the police hurt you, when they doing terrorism, when 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 CPS take your children, when you all this child support, all these different things. If you understand what you're doing, you can get your remedy and you can shut things down. Make sure I go over everything. So remember, when you even talk about diversity of jurisdiction, everything is about contract. A lot of y'all apply diversity of jurisdiction and you don't really understand what you're doing because you don't understand the elements of the contract game in that. So your case get kicked out. And you talk about why, man, I'm a board and this, that, and the third, and you ain't get, because you ain't get this part, it gotta be over 75,000. And you gotta show proof of that. So what does that mean? You gotta have a contract. Under this 1983, they deprive you of rights. That's an easy claim once you know what you're doing. You can come back under the 1985 conspiracy to interfere with civil rights when the judge is doing and acting in ultra vires. When he's acting in concert with the prosecutor and the police officer to keep you in jail, to deny you your civil rights. They're acting in concert. Letter rogatory. This is a due process issue in which you have utilized your letter rogatory to the police officer, to the court, and they never gave you consent to even get the jurisdiction that they can do. So you gotta understand all of this. And like I said before, when you sue and you lay out the statutes of claim, you're only getting from state to federal, you're only getting reparations. We're not talking about the claim, the private rights under the contract. That's additional damages. Man, y'all better get with King L. Bay, make this go 1,000,000 views, man. Let me drop this to all the boys out there. I done drop y'all some heavy science today. We're talking about the Fifth Amendment, man. We're going to drop this science on y'all. And we, success to due process. I done talked about a lot of that in my videos. But this is a heavy video on why the importance of stating the claim, why do all of that so that you can get it all done, and why you need these private contracts and all of that. The importance of stating the claim, the importance of doing all of this and laying down the foundation of what you're doing and understanding how to do that. So this is King L. Bay. I'm signing out. Peace and love to everybody. I just dropped y'all some fire. Y'all need to watch this video. This video is super hot. Also, yeah, for those who want, let me go back here, Amazon. And that's why, this is what's so crazy, man. I put a child support book out there. A lot of people don't even understand this stuff. And then I even put my number, say call me. And don't nobody even get the book to call me, man. Let's see. Right here. Y'all need to go get this book. I know a lot of y'all know somebody on child support. Listen, I put some fabulous tips in here, man. It's some good information in this book. Everybody needs to look at this book and look at the information in this book. I put a lot of good information, a lot of good tips. Any questions, call me. I might put out a sequel to this. I don't know. I'm really reserved. Like I said, I didn't see where Morris is getting caught up. I don't know if I really want to start. Like I said, we're gonna try to fade to black. So go get the book, man. I know you know somebody on child support. Let's get this together and drop this science today. And we gonna get this all the way moving and moving. You know, check this out. I'm gonna give y'all this. Go on my Facebook. Let me see. Morris Universal Society of Tribes. Check it out. Here's the number. Give us a call, man. We drop fire. King L Bay be dropping fire. Ain't nobody dropping this. I do this for a living. This is what we do. That's why I say you gotta stay the claim or you can't get no relief. You getting reparations. Y'all getting reparations when your people get killed, maimed, and they take your car and injury. Y'all getting reparations. We talking about getting paid under private contracts. You understand? We talking about separating yourself among the elite. Understanding what to do. This is King L Bay. I'm just dropping this science on y'all. Peace and love for everybody who tuned in to this video. Like I said, go here, go to the Facebook. Then we also got and we're gonna be doing new videos. Check this out. I'm gonna be doing live streams, man. Y'all need to. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this Cash App out there. Let me show y'all. This is our Cash App. It's you know what I'm saying? Donate there to King L Bay. Donate, man. Hit me up on Cash App. You got it. Download it. Hit me up on Cash App. This is our Cash App, man. This is our Cash App. Hit me up, man. Hit me up. This is the Cash App. So we're gonna start doing this. Show us some love. Hit us up on Cash App. Donate, man, so I can drop more videos. Hit y'all up with some stuff. But I ain't gonna do a lot. For those who want some stuff, hit me up on Cash App. I could drop the science on y'all. Show y'all some love. Peace. This is King L Bay.